Hello, everyone, and welcome to Revitalize MD podcast with me, your host, Dr. Deborah Durst, and my co-host.
Hey guys, Faradeh Golombieski, nurse practitioner here over at Revitalize MD.
And today we're going to talk about ways to increase your sex drive, ladies. Different ways to do that.
Yep. So this one will be all about the women, and then we'll do another one all about the men.
Yes. So I think, there's so many different ways to do it, from like a lifestyle, and I think we've talked about that in many podcasts, maybe
Yes.
not alone, but in many. This one is like, maybe how you can use natural supplements, herbal supplements to increase sex drive. And we have a great combination product that we use that has lots of different ingredients in it to increase sex drive by affecting like metabolism in different ways of the sex hormone. So,
And this works very well when we pair it with our hormone replacement. But it is an option. Sometimes we'll have women that are a little bit hesitant in the beginning and are looking for a natural option. And this is a great choice.
Yeah. And so again, a lot of our women will be on something similar to this if sex drive or libido is a big issue. So this product specifically is one of our professional lines that has a combination of different products in it. We use a lot of it in the office. So there's 8 different ingredients in it. And, some of them are a little more difficult to say, but we'll end up, we'll give it a shot, here and there. And
I will get through it. I'm not worried.
Yeah. So there are 2 of them that basically, Chrysin is one of them. So this is a female product again. And so Damiana and Chrysin, again, there's another name for that one, but it's a difficult name. But the bottom line is, if you see Chrysin in this products with it, it's going to decrease your conversion to estrogen. So basically, you're increasing your testosterone level.
These are natural inhibitors. So we're talking about aromatase inhibitors. So these are to help promote that healthy estrogen conversions.
Yeah. And so that's important. So again, when we're talking about testosterone, so if we're doing hormone optimization and we give testosterone, I always say we want it to stay testosterone, but it's going to convert to other things. And DHT is one of them, and estrogen is another one. Not a huge issue with women usually to convert to estrogen, because we're either giving it or they're making it.
Absolutely.
Unless if there's, like a medical condition that inhibits us.
Doesn't want us
from treating.
Exactly.
But otherwise, so this is one way, though, to decrease your conversion to estrogen and increase your level of testosterone instead. And so, again, it's all about a balance. The next couple ingredients, really, and Tribulus is one of them. And then there's like a deer antler.
Deer antler.
Yeah. They have different names, which is why we're not going to like the Latin terminology for it. We're
sticking with the easy.
As easy as possible.
The easy version that we can. And this one is all about testosterone. So, and conversions, keeping that testosterone, increasing that libido, help supporting libido. That's what they are great for.
Natural production of
those
testosterone,
androgens,
if at all possible, and really kind of balancing, those different sex hormones for women.
Yeah.
And again, the best way to optimize testosterone if it's really low and you're having symptoms is, use of hormones. But like Faradeh said, some women are a little hesitant for that, and it's completely understandable. And so having a way to increase your natural production of testosterone is always helpful. Yeah. And those 2 will do that.
Yep. And anytime to support that libido, because that's a very common concern women come to the office with is, I love my partner, I love my husband, I love my boyfriend. I don't understand. Is there something wrong with me? I just don't. I have zero want for sex. Zero. He wants it all the time, and I don't. So that sex drive, that libido is really important part of a relationship. So a natural supplement that can help facilitate that and boost that naturally is always a good option.
Yeah. And again, women will have different primary concerns when it comes to perimenopause and menopause. So for those that libido is a big issue, they had a sex drive and now they don't. There was, sex was a focus in the marriage and it was like something that brought them together, and now she just doesn't have a drive to do it. Yeah. Then we got to focus on increasing that libido in some way so that we're meeting her desire, and needs. And this is one of the ways and frequently used with hormone optimization. DHEA is another product that's in this one that is not in the male version of this. And DHEA is one of those. It's a supplement. But if you look at the hormone and sex hormone pathway, or just the hormone pathway, cholesterol goes to DHEA, which then goes to cortisol, all of those intermediates, and then it goes to all the sex hormones.
Absolutely.
So it supports your sex hormone production naturally.
And women, we start to decline this around age 30. So when we're going into perimenopause and into menopause, we've already got our adrenals slowing down on those natural androgens and those natural balancing of hormones. So by supporting that and giving that back to the body, that's the main source of androgens for us through our adrenals is the DHEA.
Yeah, correct.
So by replacing that, it can help support everything below it on that cascade. So it has a healthy relationship with cortisol to help with how we handle stress. And then it also has that healthy relationship with testosterone and estrogen conversion as well. So we can sometimes see those testosterone levels come up a little bit just by supporting DHEA.
Yeah. And to that point, it does increase it in women, but usually does not increase it in men. DHEA does not increase testosterone production usually in men, but does in women. And so again, supporting that healthy sexual function for women in a postmenopause, time frame is important. And DHEA can be one of those supplements and ways to do it. And we actually do test and follow DHEA levels, especially if we have somebody on DHEA. So again, just knowing that somebody is watching. So if they're supplementing with something that can go too high or have issues, it's important to know that they're following and keeping you safe. So Tonkat Alley, I always think of it as
Tonkat Alley.
Tonkat, like tongues. So, it's a sexual supplement too. But again, this is more of increasing testosterone.
Yep. Helps. So it can also help with libido as well. Again, all these supplements are meant to help with, essentially for women, if we increase testosterone, we're going to increase libido. So it is just, that is the pathway. That is that function.
And really the only thing that's going to decrease libido in a woman, especially if it was there already, is low testosterone or meds of some sort. So if you're perimenopause, menopause, your testosterone's not optimal, or you're on medications that interfere. And most of these are either increasing testosterone production, supporting production, or decreasing metabolism in some way to other things, and therefore increasing your testosterone and libido. And then there's a couple other ones that are really herbal supports, like a ginseng, Chinese ginseng, horny goatweed. These are really
ginkgo biloba.
Yeah. And they're here to increase your blood flow and support adrenal health. Because again, if cholesterol goes to DHEA, which supports all your sex hormones or your cortisol and stress, you don't want it shunted down a stress pathway. So if you can use some of these herbal, adaptogens pretty much, then you're going to support your adrenal gland wherever it sits, whether it's stressed or it's fatigued. And then you're going to shunt that back over to sex hormone production. And
then ginkgo biloba specifically helps with blood flow. So when we increase blood flow, and then it also can help with relaxing smooth muscles. So increased blood flow and a relaxation of those smooth muscles are really important in the female sexual response cycle. And for sexual wellness for women and health, to help with that orgasm strength, to help with that pleasure center. So we talked a lot about the sexual response
I was waiting for you to,
on another podcast. So, and we went in very deep detail about that whole cycle, but this does help support that cycle through that relaxation of those smooth muscles and the increase of blood flow to all of the area, but also the vagina.
Well, and what's fun about that podcast, if you have not listened to it, not only did we go into deep depth with the sexual response, but also the history there of how that was developed.
Very interesting.
Interesting, very funny. It's worth a listen. So if you haven't listened to that podcast, please check that one out.
Female sexual response is it's pretty interesting to kind of break down that cycle and then the whole history behind it, how the research was conducted to find out what worked and what didn't work. Just the whole thing was interesting.
Very interesting. I learned a ton during that podcast and prep for that podcast. So just so you know, again, diet, exercise, sleep, reducing your stress, all of those natural lifestyle, basically adjustments are important. But if you've done that, you're in the process of doing that, and you want some natural way of boosting your sex drive, a combination product such as this is very important, and a great option, because I like products that don't just have one ingredient in, but instead have multiple ingredients in that support whatever you're trying to accomplish.
I think we could probably put a link in for it.
Yeah.
We can put a link in for the product that we're talking about in the comments. That way you guys can click on it and go right to the information sheet on it. You can purchase it. You can read more about it, learn more about it. It's a pretty cool product, and we have it for men and for women.
Yeah. And I will say that, again, there are different reasons why you wouldn't want to use a product. So always checking, to see like a PCOS where you're, thought to have increased testosterone in the body already with some hair growth, abnormal cycles or amenorrhea. And again, sometimes they don't actually measure high in their testosterone, but those would be reasons not to take a product that's going to increase your testosterone. So,
or those with breast cancer or history of breast cancer. So there are definitely some things that where you do not want your androgens increased. So again, always before you purchase, talk with your medical professional, your doctor, see if it is all the ingredients are safe for you to take.
Correct. Perfect. Well, if you guys have anything else that you guys want to comment on with this, please leave a comment in the show notes. We'll get back to you. And any experiences you want to share as well. And then like, subscribe, hit the bell, share with friends. We would really appreciate all of that, because it helps us get our podcast out there. Absolutely. And so we can get, again, the word out there, education, get feedback, and talk about more subjects, because we're always willing to deep dive into anything aesthetics and wellness. So let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you.